assistant work is reminders, right? So reminders are very important, especially for training purposes. So we want to do video recordings when we do training. So for this is going to be a training on real-time virtual assistant work. I think we're going to get a little bit into the details of the type of virtual administrative work. Okay.
Okay.
So let's start with what it is, and then we'll go into the different types. So in this context, like every virtual assistant work priority should have a client and a manager, a client manager, right? So in order to do virtual assistant work, the requirement is obviously to schedule. Does that make sense? So you need to schedule with the person that you are assisting, and that is technically a worker or management priority. So that doesn't happen in real time. So scheduling is not particularly during real time. So are there any questions about scheduling?
I don't understand why you say it's not the real time.
Well, scheduling can happen like, confirm and remind and schedule on Skype or during previous sessions, right? It doesn't happen during the real-time virtual administration session. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when we're done with this, we can see if we want to schedule or not, but, it doesn't really matter. All right, because we can just schedule on Skype or by email or whatever. And that's your responsibility to make sure that there's scheduling. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so the actual work. During real-time buddy team sessions, the role would be of the virtual assistant helping to keep us focused on the priority work. Does that make sense? That you want to just make sure we're focused on the priority work?
It makes sense.
Cool. So right now the priority is making sure you understand how the virtual assistant work is going. So hopefully we can keep it to 5 minutes or so. But who decides what the primary work is? The person who you are assisting, and we're focusing on the work that needs to get done to move forward. 99.99% of the buddy teams are focused on helping and supporting the worker to complete their work. So I think this is not applicable. There will be times, all right, so there will be times where we would do silent work, where we're both working. So this would be like a double buddy team where you're doing self-driven responsibilities. So there are times when it's helpful to have a self-driven responsibility so that if I need to not be thinking of it, it's helpful. So log and have a self-driven responsibility or other work in case the person you are assisting needs time to focus on his own. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So do you have anything else you could work on?
Why are you writing your note?
At the bottom here, I can share my screen.
I want to.
I'll share my screen. Hold on a segundo. All right, so reminders, and then we have having other work ready. So do you have any other work?
For this one?
So this would be Lucy's alternative work. Do you understand what I'm saying or not?
I understand.
So my question is, do you have any alternative work that you could be working on? And what is it?
Right now?
Uh-huh.
Are we through with this one?
No, I'm trying to teach you how to do I'm trying to teach you how to do the virtual assistant role. Are you not understanding me? Should I repeat again?
Yes, you're asking me if I have another alternative when I was on training. I think I was waiting for you to train me on virtual assistant.
I'm training you on virtual assistant right now, Lucy. That's what we're doing right now.
But you're asking me if I have alternative something, I don't know.
So a requirement to being a virtual assistant, right, is that you have other work to do, right? So you need to have something you can do on your own. So in case I need to focus on something else for a little while, you are able to continue to work, so you're not just waiting around doing nothing.
Yeah, I have other work that I assign myself before I can do when you're not.
Can you please tell me something that you would work on?
Voting form.
Okay, thank you. Voting form. So you're not going to be working on voting form, but at any time, if I need to take a break, right?
Yeah.
From doing the virtual assistant buddy team, we would just switch to doing a self-driven buddy team, which means that we're both doing our own work, and you'll be focusing on the voting form. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, but for now we're going to stick with the virtual assistant work, and we're doing a training on the virtual assistant. So let's keep going. All right, so next is you do not need to understand anything because you're not doing the work. So basically, there would be reduced questions and simply watching. Okay.
Okay.
And it's kind of like apprentice, right? Kind of like learning as an apprentice. Cool. All right, so this is kind of double, but we'll go through it all again. What we hire everyone for is a virtual assistant work. Check, check, check. The virtual assistant does not take responsibility. Instead, they focus on support and tasks to support the self-driven worker position in real time. So I'm a self-driven worker, and you be supporting the work that I'm doing. Scheduling, schedule with the person you're assisting. Check, we already covered that. During the real-time work, the role will be virtual assistant, helping keep focus, priority work, all kind of like auto. Cool. All right. So there is a task here or a responsibility to update this doc to combine the two descriptions. Does that make sense?
Yes. Which description and which one? Which two docs are you talking about?
There's just two descriptions here. So you have real-time virtual assistant work, virtual assistant support work position.
Oh, yeah.
So we could try to combine these real quick. I think a lot of this is duplicate. Try to get rid of that. It didn't work. Anyways, I think that should have to just be enough. So this could still use some work, but whatever. All right. So let's go. So you have any questions on the general rule?
No.
Okay, so here for the types of work, well, I guess we're going to want to just add it here. So we want task is to follow up and make sure that we add the video training link that we just did, okay?
Okay.
So we want to make sure we have to upload the video and like do all that. All right, so next is types of work. So there is a link to this. So again, virtual assistant work, which is done in real time, is the primary responsibility is scheduling with the person you are assisting. And then during the session, you focus on supporting and assisting the person you scheduled with. You don't have to do the work. It is more like apprenticing and learning, supporting, helping, and focus. So are there any questions on the actual virtual administration work?
No.
Okay. So there are 4 types of virtual assistant work. So the first type is virtual administrative assistant. So at some point we should go over all the priorities for virtual administrative assistant. We're not going to do that today, but that would be a next step. So next step is to review VAA work, VAA, VEA, and VWA. We could do a little bit of VWA. We'll go over a little bit of VWA today. All right. So virtual executive assistant work, which we'll be doing, I believe, tomorrow. We have a scheduled session for that. It's focusing on executive work involving higher level decision-making, planning, and strategic direction. So does the VAA work and VEA work make sense?
Yes.
All right, so we're going to focus on virtual personal assistant work and virtual worker assistant. So helping focus on personal life, family, and other priorities that typically get in the way of focusing on the community work priorities, right? Virtual worker assistance is focusing on worker support to help with various priorities as well as policies required for all workers, including work reporting and other functions. All right, does that make sense as far as VPA and VWA?
Yes.
All right. So now we're going to go into more detail on virtual personal assistant work. So do you have any ideas of what a virtual personal assistant might focus on?
Virtual assistant must focus on helping.
Helping isn't exactly a responsibility. So how about scheduling, right? Scheduling?
Scheduling. The first one also is scheduling.
So you make sure that you're scheduled with me, and then you also might help me schedule with other people. So for example, if I need to schedule with Zilu, maybe you could help make sure that we follow through with getting scheduled with Zilu. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Can you think of anything else?
So how can I know if you want to schedule with someone?
I would tell you. It would be a priority. Can you think of anything else?
No.
Okay, how about note-taking?
Yes, note-taking, sure.
That's important. And like listening.
Timekeeping also.
Note-taking, timekeeping. You could say policy keeping to make sure buddy team policies are followed. right? Helping with that is important. To just do regular buddy team policies. Can you think of anything else? I would say helping to organize documents, links, information, research, find links, etc., right? That would all be important.
Yeah.
So,
reminders.
Yes. So reminders could happen both during and after sessions, right? Before, during, and after, right? And reminders are very important. So as far as here, other things could be, types of work could be personal life, family, work, general responsibilities, and then we could even say friends, helping others, friends, colleagues, or friends. It may even also be organizations, colleagues, organizations, or friends. So maybe we're helping some other organization, right?
Yeah.
So the easiest way to think about it in terms of life support is that it's everything. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It relates to everything. Nothing is off limit. So it's really good for our work model because it allows complete interlacing with everything throughout the entire network, including everything that affects the work not getting done or getting done, right? So a lot of my time is spent on dealing with issues and problems in my life that prevent me from focusing on the work that needs to get done. That make sense?
Yes.
Cool. So, I mean, this isn't a perfect description, but I think it's a pretty good, quick overview of the types of work that might come together and what a virtual personal assistant is. Right?
And a personal life, like checking on doctor if
What?
Appointment. You have doctor appointment is falling under.
It could be anything and everything related to personal life, from doctor's appointments to to bills, to
families,
travel,
or families.
Yeah, anything, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
that
okay.
Makes sense? Okay, cool. Okay, so then, yeah.
When are you visiting the doctor? Is it every month, every 2 weeks?
We can go over that later, but I don't have any doctor's appointments scheduled right now. For probably 4 or 5 months, and I might do a follow-up with the naturopath. I just don't have it scheduled, so that's one of the priorities to address. Anyways, let's keep going though, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's cover this one really quick, and then what we're gonna do is that, oh no. Okay, so right now we're on the virtual assistant policies and training, right? So then as soon as we get into Jay's support, we're gonna go through some of the goals, some of the priorities. Like you're saying, there's doctor, some of the deadlines, past deadlines, upcoming. And then we're also going to go through some of the structure. So anyone who does virtual personal assistant may have different structures. For me, we have a couple different types of structures. So there's virtual worker assistant, and then there's virtual personal assistant. And then we have, we could call it a virtual internal assistant, but this is basically like health and wellness. So this is internal health and wellness, and this is just general personal support, and this is general worker support. All right. And then from here, you end up with virtual executive assistant, because that's part of my work, and virtual administrative assistant. Okay. So we'll structure it all up and understand it better. But let's just finish up what we were talking about, and then we'll get to that. Okay. So let's just go through really quickly the virtual worker assistants, and then we'll be done. Okay.
Yeah.
So virtual worker assistance is really just helping a fellow colleague or worker with their general responsibilities as a worker in the network. So this basically is I'm not going to go through all of the details, but it could be everything from, scheduling, work reporting, reminders on schedules or work responsibilities, right? It could also be related to value tracking, invoicing, main buddy team budgets and updates. So, all those things that we have responsibility to do ourselves, it's basically like, and here we'll put some of the reason, right? Why some workers, for example, co-chairs, centers, founders, executives may simply get too busy and bogged down with high priority work to be able to keep up to date with general responsibilities of being a worker, right? This typically happens because high-level workers are sometimes working too much. So if you're working like 3 to 5 hours per week, it's really easy to complete your work report, right?
Yeah.
But if you work 40 to 50 hours in a week, sometimes it can fall through. So a lot of the times we just don't do my work reports. We don't follow through with them, and it's just yellow, It's possible to do all the calculations. It's just like you're calculating 10 times more, pieces of information. So it's 10 times more work doing my work report than doing, like Zilu's work report or Jessica's work report or whatever, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes.
Cool. All right. So any other questions on virtual administration work or virtual personal administration assistants or virtual worker assistants?
When is the virtual worker assistant happen?
Well, we're doing a session right now, so it happens when we schedule for it. So right now we're doing a virtual personal assistant for Jay support.
Okay. Understood.
Does that make sense? So the work we're doing right now is going to be virtual assistant work.
I understand.
Cool. All right, so any other questions or issues here?
No question.
All right, cool. All right, so we're done with that. If we were doing video indexing, we would want to log what time in the video for the training it is completed. I guess we could just, no, we'll keep it going just in case. All right, so we're going to do JSupport now. So the first thing I'll mention is, do you understand that JSupport is different from virtual personal assistants?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So the JSupport happens to be virtual assistants, but JSupport itself is a whole client and involves management, agreements, communication, all of the other client work and responsibilities that go with client work. In addition, a lot of JSupport work is reminders and check-ins, and because I'm I'm a executive, and founder of the network, I end up having a lot of related work priorities that overlap. All right.
Yeah.
So almost everything personal for me overlaps with work as well. Okay. So some examples here of major overlap. So let's think about some major overlap. So finances, budgeting, taxes. This is the main stuff, right? So basically all of Jay's finances and money are intertwined with the network. When I say they're intertwined, I don't mean that they are mixed together, right? So not mixed together, but are symbiotic, which basically means that they support each other, right? Support each other. So I'm dependent on the network, and the network is dependent on my finances. Eventually, we want to separate the network finances from my finances. There's not dependence, but they would still be one and the same. And the term for this is, it has a specific term. This is a personal community multi-organizational entity. So it's a PCMO, okay? Oops. All right. So there's a lot of overlap, and to keep it all organized in my life, there's so many different things that it's really important to keep it organized. So it's good to go through the structure. So we're going to go through some of the structure for JSupport, and then we'll get into more detail. Okay.
Okay.
And each component of the JSupport structure is separate clients. And this all relates to Jurison. All right, and the J in Jurison stands for J. Okay, so let's go through some. Do you have any questions so far? Everything sounds pretty good?
No.
All right, so let's start going into details here. We'll go through goals, priorities, deadlines. Before I just start doing things, let's check the client doc and see if we already have some priorities. Okay, so there is some priorities here. We also have some responsibilities, which is good. And we have priorities and spreadsheets. Okay, cool. All right. Goals. So definitely you want to get better and better at helping take notes and organizing the notes. So you could already be setting up priorities and deadlines. I mean, all this is going to be organized, right? So for the goals, I would say the number one goal is to help organize and make sure Jurison and J support gets scheduled and that new recruits can help so that we actually follow through with the work. So, I mean, we've tried to do, J support in the past, but it doesn't work. Like, people don't follow through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. From there, we want to clearly separate out management and reminder roles and responsibilities. So that's important. So that we know exactly what's management and reminder scheduling, right? Management, scheduling, reminder roles and responsibilities. Also, we're going to be doing the structure, right? This is to organize, so this also includes making sure the structure is clear and organized with different branches covering various categories of work and support. Okay? The reason why we do this is Jay's life is extremely complicated, and any one worker only needs to know about the specific priorities for that branch of my life, right?
Yeah.
So it would just be too much to go over everything all at once. You have separate docs for different components. An example would be, is personal life from internal health and wellness. So we're going to separate those, right? So these will be separated. Also, we're separating executive assistants from administrative assistants from all these different things, okay?
Okay.
All right. I think the other very important goal is to ensure that Jay's personal life is not a hindrance, maybe not to ensure, but to work towards Jay's personal not being a hindrance on the network, right? So Jay's personal life should be supportive and helpful to the network, not the other way around. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. I think that's can you think of any other goals?
Don't think that I will left travel.
I think there's one other thing to mention. It's another kind of why. So the goal would be to help Jay follow through himself on tasks and responsibilities that he typically ignores or doesn't prioritize because he focuses on helping other people in the network. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So basically the why here is that, the way I live my life, right? I guess I'm taking all the notes here. The way I live my life is that I prioritize others above myself, so I need help making sure that I myself don't fall through the cracks. Because that's the way it has been going, is that I end up falling through the cracks myself, and then that is detrimental to the network, because if I am falling apart, the network's falling apart. The same thing will be true with you and all the executives. Like every single worker we have, the goal is that you're stable in your life so that you can support the network and the organization as best as possible. All right, so I think we covered all the goals. Let's go into the priorities, okay?
Okay.
The priorities for Jay support. So we already covered structure. You want to deal with structure. Deadlines, super important. So from here, there's going to be, let's say, higher level branches, and then we have lower level branches. So higher level branches would, but this would be in relationship to the network, right?
Okay.
So this includes virtual administrative assistants, virtual executive assistants, virtual worker assistants, etc., etc., etc. And lower level branches includes, like I was saying, personal assistance, or we could just call it support, personal support. Let's just do it like this: admin support, executive support, worker support, personal support, family support, internal health and wellness support. We do J&J separately. Also, another higher level would be a Jurison support, RICO support. So I think this is pretty much the structure right there, if that makes sense. So for example, doctors stuff would all be under internal. Okay.
Yeah.
So right now we're focused on personal support, so we could call this lower level branches of Jay's support. So Jay's support is kind of like the middle ground, and supporting Jay splits into personal, internal, family, J&J, etc., etc. And then on the other side is Jurison, RICO, admin, executive, worker, etc., etc. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So in J support, we're primarily going to be focusing on this side, but all of this stuff is still related. So another way to think about it is that basically, you know, J support is a general management and coordination between many branches of J's life. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So this would be like a description, and purpose. Cool. I would even put this at the top before the goals, right? Description and purpose, goals, priorities. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
The only other thing that's like J support is going to be Jurison. So the difference between Jurison and J support is that J support is more focused on all of the personal side, whereas Jurison is focused on everything. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. And remember that Jurison is the budget and the endowment, like all of my finances go into Jurison, everything that we possibly can do to support Jurison, which helps support all of us, right? So the Jurison is it's a trust, right? It's going to be a trust, or it is a trust, but we're going to file the official trust paperwork soon. That could be an important priority as well. So we talk about trust paperwork, right? What happens to the other priorities? Don't we have other priorities here? Oh, here we go. Right, let's get all these in there too. Bills. Bills come in here and in here. Payment for paperwork. Payment for paperwork. I don't even know what that means. You know what that means? Cars.
Yeah. Paperwork. Maybe if you have a paperwork, someone can remind you if the paperwork is done or not.
No, I mean, that would just be admin. I don't know what that is. All right. All right, so dentist, doctor's appointment. So wellness, dentist, doctor's appointment, insurance, super important. Exercise, diet, nutrition. Yeah, this is all internal stuff. So there's kind of a separation here. There's like external, internal, which is like doctors, dentists, medical insurance, you know, gym, all that stuff. And then there's internal, right? Diet, nutrition, sleep, wellness, planning. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there's all these external components that I need help with that can be overwhelming, and then there's the internal components of the health and wellness. So external wellness, communications, internal wellness. So medical insurance is definitely a deadline. And we don't even know if it's passed or not. We just need to like verify the current status of my insurance. There's going to be various bills, various ongoing bills as well as annual bills. So we need to verify. All right, let's see what else.
If there is a doc that someone can verify your annual bills.
That would be the bills doc. Okay, so where was I? Other deadlines that are passed is my driver's license. This is like one of my number one priorities. Number one personal priority. Personal government compliance. This includes driver's license. So in terms of filing for the trust paperwork, applying for things, dealing with our finances. I mean, there's so many things I need my driver's license for. And I don't currently have a driver's license because my driver's license expired.
Oh.
All right, so this is like really, really super top priority that's affecting the entire network because I don't have my freaking driver's license. So this is pretty much scheduling and making time to go to the DMV. Probably take 1 to 2 hours to do that. So for example, today it is local time. It is currently 4 o'clock. The DMV probably closes at 5, but we could check here. Yeah, 5 p.m. So the probability of getting to the DMV right now is like very low. It's slim to none. So the DMV is something that kind of like you have to schedule in advance, right?
Yeah.
Furthermore, there's also an additional DMV responsibility for me, which is dealing with the Honda title and getting the bank off of the title, and changing a title, and then changing the ownership of the car. All right, so eventually this car will be owned by the business, ideally. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So these are all past deadlines, which is a problem. Other deadlines to be thinking about in the future would be dentist, which should be, I usually do 3 times a year, 3x per year. So that should be maybe around April, May, I don't know. I have to check on that. Doctor's appointment would be a couple different doctors. So we would have the naturopath. For this, I need to scan my test results and send email. From there, I need to, and that would be hopefully in next like 2 to 3 weeks, ideally. So this month. From there, I have my regular doctor, and that's probably going to be in like July. So I need to schedule for June, July. And then from there we have the counseling. And the counselor, she's helping with the contracts. So she's doing business work with us. So contracts, template contracts need to be completed. But that's also probably going to be like June, July. So those are all upcoming
session. Are those priorities or responsibilities?
These are all we considered scheduling. It's all scheduling. So it's all scheduling, getting help scheduling, and reminders. So this is all scheduling and reminders, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So these are my responsibilities. So these are my personal responsibilities that I need to do for my life. So there's dozens and dozens and dozens of things that I need to do. And they all get in the way of doing work for the network. Another example of some overlap is under admin support, we have the office. Office, organizing, cleaning, paperwork, mail, computers, tech, all of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Paperwork, filing. So all of that, the office is a huge overlap and quite a burden. Like it's a huge mess. There's dozens of boxes, and it affects my life. You know, it's like it's overwhelming dealing with all of it. So that's like a really good thing that could be helped with by scheduling time for office work. So even though I'm working physically in the office, because we don't have local support at this time, you know, having someone virtually there to help talk through it, because it's just so much paperwork, would be very helpful. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And that would be
is it a priority? Is it a high priority as for now?
Well, it's not necessarily a high or low priority. It's just like everything that we do is affected by the office and all the paperwork, right?
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily a high or low priority. It's just always happening. You just don't realize it's happening because you don't experience it, right? So if you were physically here, you would experience all of the paperwork in the office and all the other things going on. But yeah, okay. But anyways, it's just something. It's something that we can't forget about, and we need to address. The same thing with the bills. I mean, each individual bill is a priority. In terms of how we address it, who knows? But the point is that whatever the top priority is that we'll address it and deal with it. I would say the number one top priority at this time is the driver's license, so nothing else matters. All we should do is focus on the driver's license as the number one top priority because it's like bright red, huge problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So eventually what we're going to want to do with all of this, so this is something that you could do as a responsibility for management, right? So management, you could create a verification spreadsheet and percentage completion of all the J support priorities. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let me check. I saw another spreadsheet there.
Yeah, there might already be one. So maybe it's just update. You know, you update the verification spreadsheet that already exists. Make sure everything is on it, and then what we would be doing is we would be going through it together and then updating it, scoring everything, ranking everything, and knowing what the top priorities are. Right now, what we know is the top priority is the driver's license, right? So if we get the driver's license done this week, you know, between now and Saturday, along with the taxes, that would be awesome because that would allow us next week to deal with a bunch of banking things that I haven't been able to do, and also to deal with some of our finances.
Yeah.
And accounts.
We don't have I just saw prioritization spreadsheet. I think I need to create one.
Well, here it would be if you go to the bottom here, we have prioritization spreadsheets. There's one for J&J, Jurison, URI, Jello,
yeah,
and Jay's personal life. So I would say it would go on the Jay's personal life spreadsheet. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so do the Jay's personal life prioritization spreadsheet.
Oh, we have there. Registration, doctor appointment, insurance, update test.
Yeah. And you can make different tabs. So there could be a tab for, well, you can just have one overall J support tab, and then we could make a new column to categorize it as either personal, internal, family, J&J, etc. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. All right. So that is good. So let's go on to the other responsibilities. So schedule and set reminders for doctor's appointments. So this is done, but we do need to do future doctor's appointments. Schedule and reminders for future doctor's appointments. So that's not necessarily a huge priority. Checking on the due date for bills. Bills is important. I miss bills and pay tons of fees all the time. Hundreds of dollars of fees. Schedule and set reminders for dentist appointment. Also important. Medical insurance, super duper important. Scheduling time for gym and sporting. Not so important at this time. So, I mean, this is just not as important. Ensuring Jay is on the right diet. So this is going to be internal. So, I mean, I would just say put this in internal, right? So internal is going to become a separate thing. What was that? I don't know what all this is. Okay, so so the only responsibilities really is just the bills and the medical insurance. These are important. So checking in on / reminders for. Okay, that makes sense?
Yes.
Cool. Also, you're going to be update the J support doc or client doc, right? Can you do that?
Yes.
You basically want to index all of this information we went over. So I think that's pretty much it. Can you think of any other questions or anything?
No.
So you could check the schedule and see if there's any time between now and Saturday that I could go to the DMV. And basically, it would either be during Andromeda or Cobalt.
Even Friday. What about Friday?
Friday, Cobalt after recruitment?
Yeah.
All right, so maybe that might work. So just remind me and check in on Friday about that because it would be really good. Oh, and I also have to go to the post office because we're going to have to mail the taxes.
On Friday?
Yeah, we have to mail. We're finishing the taxes tomorrow and then we're mailing it on Friday. So I have to go to the post office for that. So maybe I'll have time after I go to the post office to go to the DMV. I don't know.
And if we fail to get time on Friday, we can schedule also Saturday. Is it opening also Saturday?
Saturday. Yes, the post office, but we want to send it on Friday because Saturday is the last day.
Yeah, Saturday. Yeah. Then we must maybe skip the recruitment session.
Maybe we could skip the recruitment session to do the DMV. It might be a good idea.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a possibility. So let's just consider it and bring it up. The point is that just everything affects everything. So we just want to consider all these different things in relationship to what's going on. Okay, so let's review the budget real quick and the structure, and then I think we'll be done for now, okay?
Okay.
So now I just need the budget. I think we went over at the new moon. So let's find the budget. Budget and accounting. So looking for the monthly budget. And then we're looking for potential income. And also, do we have the link to the do we have the link to
the link
client? It would be the client priorities spreadsheet, client prioritization spreadsheet.
Let me look. I think there is a client prioritization. I got it. Client work prioritization spreadsheet.
Yeah, if you can link that, that'd be super helpful.
I link that one where on our doc. Today doc.
Oh, yeah, just think at the bottom.
Link down there.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at this client prioritization spreadsheet. Oh, here it is, same thing. All right, so what we're looking for is Rico Jurison. So see all this stuff that says Rico Jurison? That is I think UESS might be part of it as well. Rico Jurison. This I think is FQN stuff. Backups. Okay, so admin support, UESS support. We'll just leave it as admin support. Don't need to get all complicated. So I'm going to add a new UESS as well. So I think that's everything. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So if we do 15 times 50 each one, then you get about 750. Okay? So, well, I think the best thing to think about it is that you have you've got Jay's. So there's two main things. There's Jay's umbrella support.
And Jay's personal support.
Jay's personal support would be under that. Jay's
and the umbrella.
Yeah, so Jay's support, I think we should change the name of Jay's support to Jay's umbrella support. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because that helps organize and clarify. And then on the other side, we have Jurison. And there's also a couple other things here that I think we forgot, which is Jello support. So that's 16. Let's see here, Jello support. Oh, here we go. Jay's admin support, executive support, Jersey support, Jay's worker involvement. Yeah, this all looks correct. Okay, cool. Playing plasma. Oh, here we go. JJ Jerson, URI. Super key, Jello, personal life. Okay. All right, so the only other one is URI. URI support. So for Jerison, you basically have got URI support. You've got RICO, client relations. You've got UESS support. You've got Jay's, well, oh yeah. So then you have Jay's executive support, Jay's admin support. Oh, we forgot Jello. Jello. And URI is actually broader and bigger than that. So RICO, USS, Jello. I think that's all of them. Admin. Oh wait, do we get executive? URI. So it's all of these things here for some reason. Jay's worker involvement engagement support. So this would be like general responsibilities. Is that everything? Did I miss anything? Dealing with a contention. This is super duper important. And the legal client follow through. And because this also affects me personally, big time. All right, I think that's all that. And so then on the other side, we have personal support. J&J support. F&F house support. Court case. Internal support. I think that is everything.
Yeah, the external supporters. You have internal and external.
For wellness?
Yeah.
Well, you could just call it wellness support. So you could have Jay's wellness support, Jay's health and wellness support, then you have external and internal. So, but it's all part of the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, so the most important thing for all of this is to understand that all of these need to be scheduled separately. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 sessions. So it could take many months and months to get through all of this. So for example, we could do every Wednesday Cobalt. Well, Wednesday Cobalts are supposed to be the main Cobalt session. But we could do, once a week, rotate the top priority, right? So 1 week, Jerson might be the top priority. Another week, Jay's executive support might be another top priority. Another week, the personal support might be, and Jay's umbrella. Today we're doing Jay's umbrella support. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That will be better when we prioritize both of them. Every day, at least something happens.
Yeah. And each of these are budgeted for like $50, right? So it doesn't take a lot to do each of these. It's just a matter of following through, so that we don't forget.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it. Do you have any other questions on it? Do we want to schedule anything else or just check in on Skype for next week?
You need to schedule on Jay support on Friday.
Another Jay's umbrella support? Yeah, or just check in about the driver's license, on Skype or during our session.
Oh, yeah, license. Then Saturday, can we schedule on something Saturday?
Yeah, we could probably schedule for Saturday, like Andromeda or something like that.
Yeah.
What do you want to schedule for Saturday?
VA work. Maybe helping you if you have other work that you want to do.
Okay, that sounds good. So we could do like some Jay's umbrella support and VA work or whatever. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, VA work. When you have another work you want to do, I can help on. And learning also more. The more I continue doing, the more I will understand.
Indeed. Yeah, but just as far as the driver's license, just like every single day, check in on it. Always, every day. Just be like, what's going on with the driver's license? Same thing with bills. And then also we have the medical insurance, right? So let's make a list of top. Well, these are all priorities, but we need a priority. So that's another next step. So next step is to prioritize the priorities. So reminder to update the verification spreadsheet, and prioritize all the priorities. And then we're going to want to do the driver's license reminders. We're going to want to do insurance, health insurance check verification. We're going to want to do review the deadlines. And bills. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. All right, I think that's it. I will talk to you later, and also do the indexing, right? Indexing is super important.
I just indexed the note on Jay's client support.
Great.
And are all these priorities all family support, internal health, level of, are all the priorities?
Not exactly.
Admin support are all those are priorities, so that I can update on prioritization.
Those are a little different. Those are more like Jurison, right? So under Jay's umbrella support, you could just put Jurison, right? So if you look on our notes here in the structure, you could think about it like these are two separate things, right? There's Jurison support, which is all of this, and then there's Jay's umbrella support, but maybe part of Jay's umbrella support is Jurison support. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then part of Jurison support is Jay's umbrella support. It's the same thing we do with all of our our sessions. Now we have our internal goals, and then we have our external, we have our internal priorities, and we have our external goals, right? So it's the same idea. Yeah. The umbrella support is internal. So this is all internal for me. It does overlap, like, some of the client work overlaps, the court case overlaps, right? So it does overlap. And then this is all the goals, which is all the work that I do on behalf of and for the network. Does that make sense? So yes. It's sort of like this is the internal, this is the external. So all you need on the Jay's umbrella support prioritization would be Jurison support. And then it's like, if that's the priority, that's the priority. But overall, if JIRSON's the priority, then we go to the JIRSON prioritization spreadsheet. It's a totally separate spreadsheet.
Do we have a JIRSON spreadsheet?
Yes. So if you go to the bottom, on the bottom here, it says looks like right here, prioritization spreadsheets. So you're going to need to get this all organized with a table of contents, right?
Yeah.
So that you can find things if this gets really long. But what we need to do is create the JIRSON client doc as well. Like all these are going to be clients. So there's the JIRSON client, right? And then each one of these is going to have separate priorities. Each one's going to have separate goals, separate strategy, right? Separate priorities, separate responsibilities. All these are going to be different. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
So for example, if we scheduled, F and F, or we scheduled for the court case, or we scheduled for admin support, we would be focusing on totally different things.
So can I index all these notes on JSupport client doc?
Yes. Index it all into the JSupport client doc, and you can even link our notes for today in case we forget anything. And then we'll just continue to organize it and get it better. In the future, we'll know more what the priorities are, and then we'll just deep dive into whatever the priority. Like if the priority is UESS, that we dive into that.
Yeah.
And this would include like world play, right? Which might come up. We just have to do our best. It's not easy because there's so much that needs to get done, but we just have to do our best one step at a time.
Yes. Do we have to create the J umbrella doc, or we have it?
I would just turn this one into the Jay's Umbrella Support. Jay's Umbrella Support client goal. So this is kind of like the overall everything, the J support. And then when we prioritize, for example, we might prioritize Jay's personal support. So Jay's personal support would be much more focused on bills, cars, driver's license, and that's pretty much it, right? The health and wellness support is going to be totally separate from the personal support. Okay?
Okay.
So when we do health and wellness, it'll be separate, right? So Jay's wellness support would be totally separate from Jay's personal support. And this is all just to organize it, keep it clear and organized, and it also relates to how I organize everything, because I just find that, when you mix everything together, it gets overwhelming, because I'm doing like 100 different things all the time, and the way I'm able to keep up on it is to keep everything organized and clear and separate. So I have no idea what's going on in all of these things, but as soon as we choose one and we prioritize it, and then we go into that doc, then we can figure out exactly what's going on and address the issue, and we don't have to think about anything else, because it'll be organized, clear, with clear steps, boom, 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 get it done. And then we move on to the next priority. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. All right, I think we're good. I will talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. It's good to do this. It's been a very long time since we've done J support. Remember, J support and all of this stuff is not, right? They're really small budgets, right? It's like $50 each. It's not about spending a lot of time on it. It's about spending little amounts of time on it every week. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what gets it done, because it's hard to do for myself, because I get so dragged and stuck into all the other big things, that I don't deal with all the little things. Awesome. All right. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye. Thank you.